Hello, I'm Tan the Tan BOTC channel, and I wanted to talk about my feelings on AI art. Discussion has become such a big thing, and AI defenders, I don't think, fully understand certain aspects of not only what they're defending, but what they're going after. I think they have a mentality of, like, because of stuff like Hollywood and, like with artists in places like Hollywood and even the gaming industry, it does seem like there's a lot of lack of passion and they're mostly for money. So ironically, they become kind of like the robots that those people are defending, which in turn would turn around and make them ironic too, because it would be a similar thing, because but you're actually not putting effort. So I actually think it's somewhat worse. They at least put effort, and that's a frickin' sad thing to think about. They put effort into their stupidity. But like for example, the frickin' dumbass Sony Spider-Man villain movies. God, what the frick are those? But I'm just thinking, like, one of the things is, imagine if we didn't have any of these characters and the art that produced them over the years exist at all. Would AI art even frickin' be able to replicate their style and the art style of many of the artists around the world? Uh, and a lot of the art I've seen either don't know how to fully manipulate lighting or shadows. There's always a way to tell, as well as like the obvious six finger thing too. Like they're the frickin' monk's wife's killer, if you know the Monk series. Um, and it's just I think there's still, like I say with like fan different I'm forgetting the word, but you know how people hate certain like fan bases and stuff, but not everybody within a fan base is bad or grouped up should be grouped up with the rest of the people who are dumbasses. As well as some fan bases work differently, like maybe there's a majority of better, more positive fans amongst that fan base than there are negative, or maybe there's ones where the negatives stand out more than the positive ones, the ones that meanwhile are constructive and to have a lot to add to the community. It's the same with like art and such. From every, like, I've seen so many AI artist things trying to be so too clean and stuff. They all start to blend together, and they probably wouldn't be able to do the things they could if the previous thing didn't exist. And just like in the real world, just because we have a lot of Hollywood and game industry dumbasses and stuff, doesn't mean there aren't a few people within there that aren't worth keeping around and have true talent and such. Just think of the people need jobs and people need to make a living. You're technically, just like with the bullying thing I talked about the other night, you might as well be a bully because you're taking lives away from people by taking away their jobs or their abilities to do those jobs, those things they were good at. Um, and everybody does have their turning point where they do eventually kind of slow down, and they're like for example, Tim Burton was great in like the 80s and 90s with his films, but like later in history he started doing remakes and such. So everybody probably has that turning point. They can't always be perfect, but I mean that's what makes them human. There's a dog barking out my window. And I prefer the more human take on things because there's something genuine and very real to it. So if we didn't have like these characters and the art that produced them, and I think that AI can be used well. There's talk that it's helpful in the medical field, as well as I can't remember the exact quote. There's a guy who works on the ElfQuest Facebook. he said like probably a couple months ago how like AI art could be used maybe to kind of support the already existing like human art there, or to help support them in one way or another. And I've seen so I love human art so much. I never get the same feeling from AI art that I do with human art, and I know some people have different perspectives, but I mean, if people believed dumbass like pirate software, then people are gullible enough to believe in frickin' AI art and other things. Once again, it doesn't say that AI can't be used for something good, but I feel like because of how young and especially those people supporting it and how blind they're going into things, uh, they're rushing things a little too fast. They need to have the time and patience to truly realize this stuff and to implement it in the ways that actually make it work and don't hurt people, because that's on your hands. But I've gone from, and I still love picking up a lot of physical media from the art of uh, actual people who have done work from manga to comic books, so on and so forth. I love it. I would love to do more of my own art. Some of it you can see in the background. This is more simplified stuff, of course. You can kind of tell that I did it more simplified anyways. But yeah, I love going through various series. I love doing the read along series. Actually, so I do have is it a X, or I hate that it's called X now. I do have a website where I post some of my art, and some of the better art is probably there, as well as my Discord channel has some of my art, which is connected to this YouTube channel. I can show you probably some, hold on a sec, some unfinished works that I've worked on, as well as some finished ones. So here's one that I've worked on in the past. This is a little more fresh, though. And I test different things, by the way. Like, can I had a while where I used pen to see if I could do a one shot of a picture with just a pen or a Sharpie or something, and then like move on from there. And this is on this pencil. This was unfinished, unfortunately. Oh, come on. These pages freaking hate me. So this was a picture of Cutter that I sadly did not get to finish. I know. Ah. This is also a picture. This was to my grandmother. That's why it says wish you could see this. She sadly passed when I drew that. Some weirder designs. I'm not good with hands. I don't even remember what this was supposed to be, but I never finished it. This is like unfinished ideas and stuff. This was a Ganondorf picture idea I had. This is an old book, by the way, too. Like, this is an unfinished Link head. And I think there's kind of a finished Link after. Yeah. But yeah, like, I still doodle from time to time. Maybe not as much as I used to. But with people like Capt Miner, it makes me want to get more into like animation and stuff. And It would be great to form like my own comic books and animation team and stuff. This is sadly a little dirty-ish or whatever the frick. But yeah, it would be cool to do more, invest more into that stuff, and finally push that stuff forward for me. Because I've had a lot of stuff that has discouraged me in life. Because once again, I'm human, and there's stuff like that happens. But yeah, with people like Captain it helps me, as well as seeing how things are going with the way people are trying to defend AI art the way they do. Once again, I'm not saying that there's total badness from AI art, whatever, if that's even a freaking word. Uh, it just sounds silly. But the way people are going about it, I feel like are rushing it and just like not being patient and not thinking about other things, like what I brought up here once again. Like, I think that's a good point. If the art that created all this stuff didn't freaking exist, would the AI art be able to replicate it or exist itself too? That is a good point. I don't. Without us, there can be no it. So, and that's the same that applies to a lot of stuff. And art isn't just a visual medium. There's also music medium and such, sound design, all that kind of stuff. There's multiple things like sound design going on outside my window. But yeah, I think that's about everything I wanted to talk about with that. I hope you have a awesome day. Tell me what your opinions. Without being rude, I just made a video about bullying and the strongest reason against it. So, yeah, piss off with that. If you're going to share an opinion while also name calling or bullying or whatever, because I have seen it before where somebody will form an intelligent opinion, but then they'll do something like call you an asshole in the middle of it or a dickhead or something, then those discussions and or arguments aren't worth the time nor patience if you're going to use it to also be childish, manipulative, and bullying. That's where it goes too far. So keep that in mind. And I have something in my channel description, so read that too. It's at the bottom mostly. So keep that in mind for when you comment on stuff. I try to fight back bullying stuff. And yeah, I think that's about it. I hope you have a awesome day or night, depending on your time zone where you are in the world when you see this. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.